Hey guys, Will Mason back here at the Demo Lab in the Mason Music Recording Studio, bringing you yet another episode of testing out some gear. Today we're going to be checking out this new guitar from Reverend. This is the Jetstream RB. Now the Jetstream is not new, but the RB is. So these are Reverend's newest pickups that came out in 2020 at Winter NAMM. And these are the Retroblast pickups. So they certainly have, as you could hear in that intro song, a little bit of that retro feel. They're single coil. They've got a lot of punch, a lot of mid-range punch to them. And they're definitely modeled after, as you can see, some of the Gretsch sort of stylings. So we're going to talk a little bit about the guitar, and I'm going to play through some different sounds so you can hear what this might be like in your rig, should it be the right fit for you. Now, before I do that, make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Do it right now because we have new stuff coming out all the time and we don't want you to miss anything. So click the button, subscribe, so you can be the first to know when we have new stuff. All right, so this again is the Jetstream. Now, Reverend is one of our favorite companies to work with and to talk about. And if you look over on the side of all the recommended videos, you're probably going to see a bunch of Reverend videos because we love them. They're great people to work with on a business side, but then they also make awesome instruments. And so as I go through some of these features, I don't want you to forget about what kind of value is packed into this instrument. Because if you're out there looking for a new axe and you don't want to drop $2,000 or $3,000, but you still want to get something that is tour grade, that is professional quality, Reverend's a great option for you. So to begin with, up here at the headstock, I'm going to flip it around to show you what's on the back. These are all pin locking tuners, and these come stock with the guitar. Makes it super easy to change strings, especially if you're out on the road, changing strings often, which you should be doing. I don't know how that goes, but it's easy to do. You just stick them in there, tighten them, cut them off, and you're ready to go. Stays in tune really well too. And then you also see that each one is signed off on by one of their shop technicians. This one is by Zach Green, looks like. And that just goes to show you that they have great quality control. They are made overseas, but when they come into the States, they go over each one individually, set them up, make sure that the intonation is great, that the action is great, and they're ready to play when they send them out the door to dealers like Mason Music. When we flip over to the front side, you'll see that there's a 3-string string tree, make sure I got that right, which helps with intonation and that G-string buzz that you can sometimes get on this headstock style. And then we have a bonite nut, which is a great quality component and it's going to last forever. And this neck is a roasted maple neck. And so what that does for you is it gives you all the benefits of maple without the cons. So when they roast it in the oven, it pulls out a lot of the moisture and a lot of the sugar content and just purifies the wood so that as you're traveling around the country, or if you live in a part of the States like Alabama right now, where the temperature is 70 degrees one week and 30 degrees the next week, when you kick on the heat and the moisture changes in your home or your environment, the neck doesn't freak out because it's already kind of been tested through that roasting process. So again, that's a stock feature on this guitar. It's not an upgrade, it comes with it. As we travel down, flip it over one last time so you can see this. It is a bolt-on neck, comes in their bolt-on series, but you see that there's actually 6 bolts. So this is something Reverend does to just make it a little bit stronger and more durable, because they do really want people to take these out on the road and be on stage with them, doing all of the crazy antics that you may do if you're in a rock and roll band. And you can do that with this. And it's also got really an ergonomic design. They've kind of notched out this area so that that plate doesn't stick out and kind of bump into you. And you'll also notice that this back plate is a perloid looking thing, which matches the front. This is such a cool design. Just aesthetically, this guitar looks so awesome. The shape of the pickguard certainly kind of harkens back to a retro style, and it makes you feel like you're in the, I don't know what era, maybe the 50s, maybe the 70s, maybe somewhere in between. That's the cool thing about Reverend, is they don't really copy anything else. They're able to somehow, in a crowded market of guitar builders, still innovate and do something that's unique, but not too weird that you're like, I would never play that. So the pick guard we've talked about. On the pick guard, we have volume, tone, and then this third knob, which anytime you hear me talk about Reverend, you're going to see us talk about this bass contour knob. It's a feature that seems like it should be on every guitar on the market, and yet it isn't. All it is it's a passive bass roll-off. So as your tone knob rolls the trebles down, the bass knob is going to do the same thing for those low frequencies, low mid frequencies, which just makes every Reverend super, super versatile because you can get a ton of flavors out of even one pickup. And then when you switch pickups and you blend that in, you just have an infinite number of sounds that you can get out of the same instrument. We've got a 3-way selector switch, so you can be on the neck, the bridge, or both. And then we have a Wilkinson trim. So this is a smooth tremolo. You can do everything from these, Floyd Rose dive bomb sort of things to just a little bit of wiggling around to create a little bit of that surf sound. Some of the things that you can't see inside the guitar that I want to mention in terms of value, Reverend goes the extra mile on all this stuff. The volume knob actually has a treble bleed circuit built into it. So as you're rolling the volume off on most guitars, you start to lose some of that brightness to it. It becomes a little bit more dull. Reverend puts in that treble bleed circuit, so even as you're rolling the volume off, if you're one that does use your volume knob quite a bit on stage, you're not going to have to make any other adjustments because it's going to keep that brightness to it. Also inside of the pots and the capacitors, they're going to be using a higher quality or a tighter allotance. So they're using plus or minus 10% caps and potentiometers. And without getting too technical, that just means that they're being really selective with the components as they source them so that you can kind of count on every Reverend you get being really high quality. So especially for those of you who may be shopping online, that's an important thing to keep in mind because you may not be able to get your hands on one of these instruments. They're not in every single market, but you can buy with a little bit more confidence knowing that they put really great quality components. So, the one that I'm playing today and the one that you purchase online are going to be really, really close in terms of the sound. So something to point out, and even the input jack is really high quality. Some of those just finer details that they go to the extra mile to make sure that you're getting tons of value for the price point. So that's all I can think to gab about. I'm going to shut up and play some for you. And today I'm actually playing through my Sam amp. This is an amp that was built by a local amp builder. His name is, guess what? Sam. Very creative naming, kind of like me with my company Mason Music. If you can't think of anything, just use your name. But we're going to be playing through, it's kind of a Fender sound. It's got 6L6 tubes in it, and it's got a clean and a dirty channel. And we're going to start off on the clean side and just give you an idea of what this guitar sounds like as we go through the different pickups and mess around with the knobs a little bit. Oh, also I'm using a reverb pedal. This is the RV5 from Boss that I should mention. So just to sweeten things up a little bit and give you some of that retro flavor. So here we go. So that was on the neck pickup with the bass, treble, and volume all the way up. I'm going to roll the bass off so you can hear what that does, because I know that's something that you may or may not be familiar with. It pulls out some of that low frequency content, low mids, and what it leaves behind, it's almost like coil tapping, which these are already single coils, but it gives you just a lot of versatility so you can get a range of flavors out of that one pickup. So here we go. So we're on the same pickup, and yet with that one adjustment on the bass roll-off knob, we really have a totally different sound going on. Definitely a little bit thinner and a little bit more of those retro vibes going on. So I'm going to switch to the middle position, roll the bass back up. So now we're going to be engaging both pickups here. Just play that same riff for you again. Hopefully you're not sick of it yet. All the way down to the bridge pickup. definitely start to get more of that upper mid-range honk going on when you get all the way down to the bridge pickup, which is great. And you can even thin it out more if you wanted to pull some of those low mids out and make it even just thinner and kind of trashy. As we get over to the dirty side of the amp, you'll definitely see how that can become helpful. So switching over and gonna play some trashy riffs for you, and I hope that you enjoy the flavors of the Jetstream RB. So that was actually in the middle position, and I'm going to switch down to the bridge position, and I'm going to play that same riff that you've heard before for sure, and start to dial out some of the bass contour, and you'll see what that does when we have a little bit of dirt on the amp. So it definitely adjusts a little bit of the volume. It pulls a little bit of level out of the signal. So when you're on a tube amp and you've got some distortion on there, it adjusts, it affects your overhead. And so we're getting a little bit less dirt out of the amp as well. So again, you just have a lot more control right here at the guitar, which makes it just super, super, super useful. I'm a big fan of this guitar. I love the shape. I love the way it looks. I love the way it sounds, which you can see all that stuff and you can hear all that stuff through the video, but the thing that you can't get is what it feels like. And so I have to kind of describe that to you. But this roasted maple neck feels fantastic. It really is smooth to play. It's a satin finish, or a matte finish rather. It's actually really, really smooth. Very, very comfortable to play. And you have to get your hands on one of these. So visit us if you're anywhere near the Birmingham area. You can stop by. We always have a ton of Reverends in stock. And if you want to check it out before you come to the store, visit us online at masonmusicrocks.com, and you can click on the shop link there. We have a list of all of our inventory that we have in stock. So anything that you're looking for, we can always get it for you as well. Just drop us a line in the comment section if you have any questions about this guitar. If you have one of these guitars, if you own a Reverend, let us know what you think about it. What's your experience been like? What are the pros? What are the cons? What are the things that you wish maybe were different? We're always all about having conversations with our fans and our friends on YouTube. So that's really it. Make sure that you like us, comment, subscribe, do all the things you're supposed to do. And thanks for watching. And we will see you next time at the Demo Lab. Rock on.